Hello, I'm Simon. Welcome to my workshop. This video is part of the workshop organisation series, and in this video we're going to be making a storage solution for my chisels. Let's get tinkering. Now these chisels are really sharp, I need somewhere to store them. So this video is about making a storage solution that can hang on the wall. I've selected some scrap MDF and I've laid out the chisels how I think I want to store them. And I'm storing them in size order. First I mark out and cut the backboard out of recycled 6mm, that's 1/4 inch MDF, using my bandsaw. I then use some 12mm 1/2 inch MDF to cut out a couple of boards. I'm using my handsaw because the Evolution track saw blade, after a couple of uses, has become misaligned from the track and I've not got round to adjusting it. But to be honest, it's quicker and more accurate to use the handsaw than the Evolution saw. Anyway, enough about that. This board will be a backspacer so that the chisel handles aren't touching the backboard. The other will form the actual holder. I trim these boards to size using my bandsaw. The chisel handles are all different sizes, so rather than doing lots of complicated maths, I've eyeballed them so that they're about the same distance apart. This means that actually they're all different, varying distances apart, but the gap between each of the handles is about the same. And I'm now going to draw around each of the blades so that I know exactly where they are on the wood. Having drawn around the blades and then given each blade a little wiggle room, I set to work cutting the holes in the board where the chisels will go. The depth of each cut is a bit longer than the chisel blade, so that when placed in the holder the chisels don't quite reach the bottom. This is to prevent the sharpened chisel coming into contact with the MDF. So this is what I have so far. This is the backboard. This is going to be screwed to the wall. I then have this spacer, which is going to be glued in place like this. I have then this piece, which is going to accommodate the chisels. Now these large chisels, to go in here and to sit nicely, you can see that when they sit they rise up because of this bevel here. And therefore I just need to take a little bit out of here so that they can sit nicely. I only have to do this for the two largest chisels. The other chisels, this one's a different design, but the other chisels sit nicely. They'll sit okay on their own because they're smaller. So I'm just going to mark up where the centre of these two chisels, so that I can then add the little chamfers so that they sit nicely. I then use a file with a curved profile to shape the backboard. I decided the backboard would look nicer with some rounded edges. I used a can as a template, then cut them out. I was originally going to close the cavities for the chisels with another piece of MDF, but then an old, previously used piece of clear acrylic caught my eye, so I decided to use that. You can see it's rather scratched up. The advantage of the acrylic is that you will be able to see the chisels underneath, and so don't have to rely on memory when selecting which to use. I've just done a dry fitting to check that all the chisels sit straight, and this one is proud, so I need to file out the back on this one. This one's slightly proud by about 1mm, so it needs filing back a little bit further, and the same with this one. It's about 1.5 millimeters, so it just needs pushing back a little bit further. So I'm going to file them out and I'll do another dry fitting, and I'll keep doing that until I get them perfect. Then, using some insulation tape to hold the acrylic in place, I piloted some holes where I wanted to put the screws to secure the acrylic to the MDF. I then changed to a slightly larger bit and enlarged the holes in the acrylic so that the screws don't crack it. I could then begin the glue up. First the spacer is glued to the backboard, then the chisel holder to the spacer. I temporarily fit the acrylic to the front to make sure the fingers of the holder are in the right position, and then clamp everything up. Now I sand all the sides flush using some 60 grit sandpaper. I've no idea why, when I was at school, a woodwork teacher insisted sandpaper be called glass paper. 36 years on, everyone I know still calls it sandpaper. All the MDF is from leftovers, and some of it had battle scars from a previous life. So whilst I generally don't finish workshop projects, in this case I decide to give it a coat of water-based black satin. This should also help show off the chisels. We're on the home straight now. I fix the acrylic front using some short panhead screws. Then pilot some holes in the back plate so that it can be fixed to the wall. I'm slowly removing the cupboards from my workshop. If you have a look back at early videos, you will see I had more cupboards on the wall, all storing tools. But I've found that when the tools are immediately accessible, they are used, and those in cupboards are not. So my mission is to get all my tools stored on the wall. I've considered using the French cleat system, but this is a lot of work and material when often a screw is enough. I might revisit this in the future, but for now the priority is making all the storage solutions to go on the walls. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is one of those projects that I hadn't planned from the start, and it was dictated pretty much by the stock that I had available. One of the surprising elements is I didn't expect when I started this project to have a clear front on the chisel holder. I think that it adds a lot of utility and displays the chisels really nicely. If you've enjoyed this video, then please leave a thumbs up. If you've got any comments or suggestions on your workshop organisation ideas, then please leave them in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, why not subscribe by clicking my logo? It's free, and YouTube will add some of my videos to your feed. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.